Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for Design Questions to Consider with a Gen Z designer. I'm Meg, your community manager, and this is Linda.
I'm Linda.
So she is one of our designers who creates some of our tutorial videos that show you how to design.
Yes, I do.
So today we're going to ask and answer a few questions. The first is, how can I design faster? The second is, how can I use AI for design? And then the third is, we're gonna learn some questions to ask when designing. So Linda has a process where she asks herself some questions while designing, and we're gonna go over those today and learn how to leverage those questions in our designs so that we're creating more thoughtful designs and better content.
Hi guys, my name is Linda. I'm a self-taught designer for Simplified. And the three questions that I ask myself whenever I'm designing is, one, what's the statement? What am I trying to convey here? And then two, what is the tone of my design? What am I trying to let the people feel? What is the theme? And then lastly, I ask myself, am I making this design flexible so adjustments can be made? Yes.
Those are great. And we're going to learn how to actually apply those questions to our own design processes today as we create a design for one of our Simplified community members, Shay. We will actually be designing his podcast cover today with Linda. I would love to know if you're joining us today, where are you joining us from? Simplified's community is global. And so we want to know, where are you from? And then also, if you would drop your biggest burning question about design in the comments, go ahead and ask us anything, and we will do our best to answer those either at the end or during this session. Simplified can help you design much faster. So some of the one-click features that we have within our designer are our magic resize button, where you can select any template from our library and turn it into whatever dimensions you want. We have a bunch of preset dimensions, or you can even do custom sizes. Then we also have our crop image button, so that when you select an image, you can crop it into all of these different preset dimensions, as well as commonly used shapes. We also have an animate button where you can transform static images into videos in just one click. And then one of my favorites, the replace image button, that really saves a lot of time by just clicking replace image. And then you can search from millions of images or videos from our built-in stock libraries to save you time. Here's an example of our Resize Image button. So you'll see that I have a design here on the main screen. And then at the bottom here, you're seeing all these different artboards where all I did was click the magic resize button, and I was able to resize it into the dimensions for all my different social channels. This is great for when you're trying to scale your content, or if you're trying to repurpose old content to be able to use on different channels. Simplified also has the first ever AI-powered creative assistant, so you can generate posts for your social media in seconds. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Simplified. So to get started using our AI designer, you'll just start off on your dashboard and click on AI Assistant, and then click Design Now under this AI designer. This brings you to our social media quotes, where we can put in a topic or a theme for a quote. We'll put in a topic and some related keywords, and then choose our output language here. There's over 15 languages that Simplified's AI assistant can generate. Then we'll just click the big generate button and let the AI get to work. So we're going to go ahead and generate some more. When you're using the AI assistant, you always want to generate a couple of times to get the best results. And here we have some inspiring social media quotes. And now let's take it a step further and see if our AI designer can actually create some creatives for us and save us tons of time with the design. And we'll click the big yellow Generate Creatives button. And here the AI has already created graphics that are ready to post on social media. If I just want to change the font and the spacing of them, but you can see that the AI has actually pulled related images to fill the background. And then all I would do is go ahead and change that font. And I'm ready to go and pop in my logo and post those to social media. So Simplified's AI can save you tons of time in your designing. And now these designs would be ready to upload to any of our social channels. Now we're going to actually learn how to design some things from scratch with our resident designer, Linda. So I will turn it over to you, Linda, if you want to go ahead and screen share and show us how we can ask some thoughtful questions while we're designing.
Hey guys, so I'm going to get started on making this podcast cover. So starting at this dashboard page, we are going to choose design templates. And then generally, before I start any design, I'll usually search up any like podcast covers and whatnot just to see what they commonly look like so I'm not misled. And just a quick browse, it looks like there's already just a primary color or a primary background for each of these podcast covers. And in that, I can find my statement. Like right here, these different ones show it's giving very retro. It's giving vibes of, I guess, like rock mid 2000s. These are directed towards the adult audience. And that would tell me what is the tone of my design? What audience am I trying to target? And then these are also very simple designs. When you look at it, there's nothing that's very overwhelming, nothing that won't catch the eye, because all of these catch my eye. And in that, it means that these designs are flexible. These are customizable so that anybody can use them and change them to how they want to use them. So that's what we're going to aim for today. So this is going to be the final product of today, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So starting with our templates, we're going to search up podcasts, the most simple thing. And then I chose this template. And then when we search up the usual dimensions of a podcast, it gave me 3,000 pixels by 3,000 pixels. And we're going to follow that to a T. And it's very important that we have a very large dimension, because when you see podcasts, they're very small on your phone. Like it's not going to be really big out there. So when you zoom out, you should be able to see the designs clearly. So making sure that we design it on a big canvas will ensure that it is of top tier quality. So first, we're going to change the dimensions and resize it to 3,000 pixels by 3,000 pixels. Okay, so I love the idea of putting all of these different elements that show what this podcast is about. So that's what we're going to do today as well. So we're going to do anything that we do not need. I really like the color of this background. So we're going to copy a text code, and we're going to set it as this background. And we could just delete this, we can delete this, we can delete this, and then we could keep these elements and just change the font. This is the book brand. Okay, so because the book brand is the name, we're going to make this a statement. So we're going to make this the largest. Make everything else a little bit smaller. And their kind of slogan or motto is from idea to author. So we also want to highlight that so people just have a short general idea of what they can expect in this podcast based on its cover. Not everyone has time to read the description, you know? And of course, there was not a lot. When we go back to our reference for our podcast coverage, you will see that there's not a lot of text. Like they usually just keep it very simple. They don't try to like say everything that this thing is about. And we're going to try to go for that. But because the client wanted me to add some certain words in there, I'm going to fit it in a very discreet way that isn't going to overwhelm anybody. Our client also wanted us to add self-publishing nonfiction books. So we're going to go with self-publishing nonfiction. We're going to try to add that in here without the viewer, the audience feel like, oh no, this is too much to read. Like I'm just trying to listen to a podcast. Like, well, why do I have to read? Exactly. You don't have to read. So we're going to put this in. So
How do you choose your fonts, Linda?
whatever pairs well with each other. I usually go for a really bold one. This is my bold one. And I usually go for a super simple one. So that one is the central highlight. And the other is just like, okay, this isn't as important, but it's there. So read it. Okay. And we're just going to repeat this statement. This statement is important.
Yeah.
Well, all right, action. And then we want this. Okay, this is taking up all the space right now, but we want this to be in the background. So we're going to go to appearance, opacity, and then we're going to change it down. Just tone it so it's just like in the back. but still readable, because it's important to know that this is self-publishing nonfiction. That is what the podcast is going to be about, guys. And we're going to send it to the back because it's the background. And then we're going to search for media or elements that bring out what the podcast is about. And as I'm redesigning, I'm asking myself, what is the tone of my design? What am I trying to convey? And right now I'm trying to convey that this is about books. The first thing that pops in my mind when I think of idea, and then the question, what am I trying to convey? Idea gives me light bulb. I'm thinking ideas. Something is shining bright in my head. So we're gonna find a very cute light bulb that's yellow and it matches. So we're gonna choose this one. We're gonna remove the background for this one. This is a podcast. Podcast mics. Of course, you gotta have the classic mic in there. It's a podcast. Every podcast cover basically has a mic, at least from what I've seen. But I'm inexperienced, so you can hate on me if you will.
That's
But
valid. That's
I will
valid.
listen to this.
The real podcast covers have microphones, so there's a tip for you.
And real designers listen to the client's podcast, which I did. So I could get the tone of this. I was like, okay.
Wow, shout out to you, Shay. Shout out to you. She was listening to your podcast.
Okay, so we have the mic. This is probably what Shay talks through. This is what we hear. And then I'm gonna ask myself again, am I making a statement? Am I making sure that people know that? Do they know that this is a podcast? Do they know that this is about being an author themselves? Of course, they can get everything from a cover, but we're trying to convey that the most. And then I'm also making sure not to add too many things that it can't be replicated or customized for when Shay wants to make adjustments to it. Like maybe he's like, hey, Linda, I hate this. Like, what's going on here? Like this is not what I want to show. And I was like, okay, cool. What do you want to change? Like I can delete this picture. I can delete this picture. I can change the color. Like green's not your thing. That's cool. Green's not my thing either. And then that is the third question. Am I making this design flexible? Am I making it adjustable? And then voila, we have our podcast cover. Homemade for Shay by she herself. Yep.
Wow, that's incredible. All right,
you.
there you have it, folks. Oh my gosh, really excellent designing, Linda. Thank you so much. Guys, if you have questions about Linda's design, go ahead and drop them in the chat and we will do our best to answer those. But I would love to just recap really quickly with Linda's 3 main questions to ask yourself when you're designing.
They are, the first one is, what's the statement? What am I trying to convey? What is the tone of my design? Also kind of like the first question, but more so, what theme am I trying to make? And then the third question is, am I making this design flexible? Can adjustments be made?
I love that. So there you go, Shay. There's a podcast cover for the Book Brand podcast from idea to author. And yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this and that you got some tips from our Gen Z designer. I would also love to know what questions or designs would you like to see next from Linda? You know, we're making tutorial videos all the time. So if there's a specific design that you would like to learn or you would like to hear from Linda and her Gen Z perspective on, go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. But we are so thankful that you guys joined us today. We want to see you guys go ahead and try some of these tips in your next designs. Ask yourself the 3 main questions and then post it in the group with the hashtag #MadeWithSimplified. And we can't wait to see what you create and how you unleash your creativity at Simplified. See you later, everybody.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us.